Hey everybody, it's Mike and Denise. We are in the Villages. There's a golf cart going into the tunnel that we're going into right now. And we're gonna do a movie review of The Bubble, which is a movie, a documentary movie. It's nonfiction about the Villages. We just saw it last night. Here you can see the tunnel where we're gonna go. Whew, there it is, okay. Denise, what's your first thought when I mentioned the movie, having seen it? What do you think?
I think that the name gives it a negative connotation, as if you're living in a bubble in a protected world that isn't realistic or something, that's overprotective, like that kid who was allergic to his mother's skin, so he lived in a bubble. That's not what this place is about. I don't think I can talk over this image.
We're watching the golf cart go by. Okay, it's not what this place is about?
No, I think this is a nice, safe place that's low cost of living compared to the HOA fees that I pay.
Well, HOA fees, yes, but houses are highest cost of living in terms of the whole U.S. $340,000 is the average home value here, which is the highest in the U.S. of all areas.
That was high compared to what I heard someone say in the movie. Maybe prices have gone up.
Yeah, well, you can get something in the low 200s, upper 100s, but not much. You're talking about the tall, small areas.
I heard someone say 175,000.
Yeah, but that's we're comparing the DC area prices. Keep that in mind, which is and has been the most expensive area, but apparently it's not so much anymore. I don't know.
Okay, so it's not cheap, but it's not exorbitant.
Yep.
The crime rate is low, and there's tons of amenities, so you can stay active, you can get around transportation-wise, and be surrounded by like-minded people. You won't you won't feel old because there aren't any young people here. So I think it's a positive thing, and I didn't like all the negative talk in the movie, like it's 98% white, as if it's full of racist people. I don't think it is, because people from other cultures, like India, for example, get taken care of by their children when they get old. First, the family raises the children. The parents take care of the children, then the children take care of the parents. And Americans are more independent. They don't want to be a burden on their kids, and they're financially able to move away and retire, so kids don't have to worry about taking care of their parents. That's something I've seen in other cultures too, mainly Asian cultures. I think that explains why it's mostly white people out here, the people who are more educated and affluent and plan for their retirement.
Initially, you were thinking that everybody had a pension who lived here. And maybe they do, because it's more old school, so older generation. Old school is you have a pension. New school is that you save for your own, and maybe the employer helps you out a little bit with benefits or matching, but you're responsible. At least you don't stay chained to the same employer because of that pension plan. Whereas in the past, a lot of these people may be 30-year career people, right, with the same company.
Right. I think it's mostly white here because those are the people who have already worked for the past 30 or 40 years. And America is becoming more diverse in all the cities, but I don't think that people are immigrating here at the time of retirement. They're immigrating over when they're younger.
Right.
And they probably will be part of the Villages in the future, but for right now, that's the demographic that we're looking at.
True. Okay, we're gonna show you the circle. There's traffic circles all over the place. You saw the tunnel that we did. Here's a circle. We are kind of going around on these paths here that just kind of bypass the circle. They've got paths all over. This is just one example of it. And you can see everybody's friendly here. It's Florida's friendliest hometown is their motto. They talk about it in the movie like there's a whole, we got a whole traffic jam here, you see? There's a whole, yeah. Okay.
It looks like a Bentley, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Or it's an older car. Okay, for the movie though, they talk about a new paradigm in retirement. Like kind of like what Denise is saying, that they're saying that this whole massive retirement area, I think that this is the largest planned development in the world, the largest 55+ community in the world. And in the movie, in the Bubble movie, they talked about this being like a new paradigm of retirement, like where you have lived your life, I guess, and now it's time to, enjoy it amongst like-minded people. And I did see one thing, it wasn't really talked about too much in the movie, but how there's 3 stages of retirement. Number 1 is that you stay close to family and friends. Number 2 is you start exploring the world and just go off wherever, which is actually, I believe, the digital nomad lifestyle, which is a new way of living, period. Anyway, older people may never experience that. And then the 3rd is you move to an area of like-minded, age similar individuals. And like over here in this metropolitan statistical area, I think like 85 +% of all residents are over 65, okay, in this entire area, not just the villages, which is a public area, by the way. It's not even private, actually, not even any of the areas, which I'm discovering as we go along. So in the movie, they brought in all these different facets. They had someone from the Orlando Sentinel, for instance, who was obviously a Democrat liberal who was having all kinds of problems, but the exclusionary nature of this neighborhood, even though it is a completely public area, and that's brought up in the movie, a lot of her issues there. And of course, this is a mostly Republican area, 2-to-1 Republican to Democrat registered, and 80% voter turnout, which is more than twice what the normal voter turnout is for the US. So they kind of run the politics. This whole village runs the politics in this entire area, right? It's hard to overcome. That point was brought up in the movie. Another point that was brought up was about the land annexation and taking over of the villages. They just annexed 18,000 acres just south of here. We're on the south side right now. We're near Brownwood Paddock Square, which is we just walked from. There's 3 squares that are active right now. We have a video for each one, so check them out on the channel. There's Spanish Springs, Brownwood, Paddock, and Lake Sumter. So anyway, a lot of people are pissed off because look behind us. See how these houses are all small and they're on small lots? You see all this? They're close together. Someone in the movie is complaining, I got an acre and the county tells me I can't build another house on my acre. I'm like, that's because how the zoning is. It's economies of scale. Once you start annexing in, you have more people and you have a developer who has experience in negotiating all this with the county, then they will get higher density zoning in return for other things, but they're paying huge amounts of taxes to the county. Keep this in mind, okay? And this other person who's complaining is not going to, of course, they don't want to pay any more taxes. So the benefit is, it almost makes a no-brainer thing where people want to annex their land and get it taken over by the villages because they're going to pay you way above market value because they know how to negotiate these deals. They didn't mention that in the movie. They just made it seem like it was all bad. Oh, there's a guy. They're always cleaning. They're always blowing. They're always landscaping. It's like Disney World out here. We can't go down there, unfortunately, because, and we should go down there, but we can't. Okay. We're just going to keep going this way. We'll walk. Oh, fire ants, look, yeah. They said, okay, in the movie they did say there's no bugs, right? They're like, what's a mosquito? What does it even look like? At our property, we have a house that's 30 minutes from here. There's mosquitoes all over the place because you know why? They don't spray chemicals. I'm sure they're spraying chemicals all over the place. That wasn't brought up in the movie. They showed how the cows and pasture animals were out there and like, we wish we could have those. I'm like, animal agriculture is not good for the environment either. They didn't bring that up in the movie. There's a lot of things that weren't brought up that I think the older generation doesn't really think about either. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, well, the lady from the Orlando Sentinel brought up that they use a lot of water over here, but if you develop land anywhere, you're still going to need water if you're going to water your lawn. I don't think it's any different from any other housing development. Yeah,
and they kind of alluded to the fact that they were insinuating that if they're using all this water from the ground aquifers, it's going to cause all the land to collapse in the form of sinkholes. They didn't come straight out and say that, but that's basically what they were getting at. Yeah. And I don't even know if that's completely accurate. It might be. But the other thing is, look at the landscapes they have here. It's all about beauty and appearance. And look, there's more shops over here. Okay, at this hospital. Yeah, it's all about the appearance and beauty, and it's like Disney World, right? But the thing is, this is non-native. They have to irrigate in water. Stuff like that that's around our house, 30 minutes away, is not native, right? We get these ferns and other things growing. You don't need to water any of that stuff. So they could always convert over, right? They could stop their spraying of insects. They could stop their watering. They could convert to native, right? Yeah. Anytime they want, really. And maybe they will. And there's golf carts. You saw there's golf carts everywhere, right? What else was brought up in the movie that was a thing that you remembered? Anything else?
The gates.
The gates. Oh yeah, the gates. There are gates on these neighborhoods, and we thought that they were gated communities, but they're not. There's a button. They're public streets. Anybody can get in. They show in the movie too that everybody's friendly. All the people on golf carts, cars, live in the gated communities, whatever. Even though they're not gated communities, but they show a really bad view of the developer, right? Didn't you think in the movie how the developer's like, "Why are you recording? Do you have permission to record? You can't record here." And they show all those actual scenes in the movie where the developer has a problem. But again, I think a lot of this is almost like a political war between the Democrats and the Republicans. It's kind of crazy. And it's like the Democrats say that Republicans shouldn't have their own little area where they can go and get away from the bad parts of society. Something we've noticed is that there's no homeless people, even in the downtowns around here, right? Yeah. That's what people don't like. And imagine if you could do this without it. I don't know how they're accomplishing this, or if maybe the homeless aren't attracted to this area. I don't know. But if you've seen the movie, let us know. We have to go, I think. Actually, this is this is the hospital. They have a couple hospitals here. This one is themed a little different. The one in Spanish Springs looks like Southwest. This one is kind of more like a wilderness brown thing, right? All right, what other points from the movie? Anything else we can think about?
I was sad when some lady said that they don't turn on the sirens when an ambulance comes to get someone. Otherwise,
they'd be on all the time.
Non-stop. But I looked around and I didn't see any ambulances coming
Well,
through.
we did see this morning. I saw a fire truck with the lights on, speeding down the road with no siren.
Yeah.
So I know what they're talking about.
Quiet. Yeah, it's interesting how things are regulated in the villages.
So let's see, any other final thoughts about any of the scenes in the movie? They did profile a few different couples in the movie, and one of them talked about getting cosmetic surgery, and she wouldn't reveal her age. Yeah. How old do you think she was?
Oh, probably 70s, maybe 80s.
Just 70?
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
And there's one guy say, how many guys you know in their 80s that are biking 30 miles a day? We got so much activities to do around here, and that's what you get when you get into the villages, is you get to join these clubs. You get to be part of these activities. That's the private part. You can always walk and drive through their neighborhoods. You can go to the town squares like we do. You can shop in their shops. You can dine at their restaurants. You can watch the live music, which is every single day, starting at 5 to 9 p.m. And you can also listen to WVLG, which is broadcast at all of the outside of the villages, like music at Disney World, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think my grandparents could bike at 30 miles because we lived on major thoroughfares. There was no bike lane.
And what do you think about people that you know? Like, we don't know anybody. We have retired parents. We don't have anybody in the villages. It's just us. We're almost 55. We're 53. So what do you think about them? I guess they'll never experience something like this. There's 70,000 homes, 150,000 people. We got to turn around. We're at the end. We must have passed our coffee shop. But let's final thoughts on this.
I think I need to get back to work so I can retire in the villages someday.
And they didn't mention any remote working, because you could have over 55 people working remote, right? Yeah. But they didn't talk about any of that aspect of this. They just basically assume that nobody has an income-paying job and that they're just living the good life. So, and it is a nice place. I mean, lowest crime rate, like Denise said, highest credit score of any city in the U.S., over 800 average credit score. You know, it's a pretty decent place that's, considering it's not gated, it's not private, people can go in and out, and it still manages to maintain that like really pleasant experience. I'd say that's what it is overall. Takes the seediness, the badness out of urban living or suburban living, because nobody has much land, right? Usually when you have tighter, more condensed housing, you get more problems. This area has less problems. So let us know your thoughts. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.